Welcome back to r/relationship advice, where today OP's roommate thinks that allergies are not real and she is essentially killing OP by having a dog in the apartment even though it is not allowed. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to join our awesome community, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, "My roommate's dog is literally killing me." I have allergies and asthma to animals. Dog allergies were not that bad in the past. I asked her previously, no animals. The company who leases property has that rule as well, but she brought a dog anyway. For the sake of not starting fights, I just did not say anything. My allergies and asthma have escalated to me having to be on steroids every couple of months for the past year. It has gotten so bad that my doctor told me that something now or something dangerous can happen. The roommate now has been asked to leave by the landlord by March 30th, and they signed a contract saying she would do so. Now it is looking like she's not going to do that or wait until the last minute. She has also been fired from the job that gives us this housing. I am dreading this conversation. I know it's going to be ugly. She has flat out refused to follow any of the rules the company had regarding the dog and controlling the environment either. She was a higher up, so they did not kick her out right away. My family lives far away and I have nowhere else to go. I am thinking of bringing this to the company heads. Rules are obviously not being enforced and I could die as a result. And a user in the comments suggested, "You need to stop being a doormat and start advocating for yourself. They broke your agreement and contravened the lease. They don't get to be treated with kid gloves, they get to be told to get rid of the dog and or GTFO. Stand up for yourself. This is, as you say, literally killing you. Don't get yourself hurt by being polite, least of all to people who don't deserve it." And another person in the comments said, "So you legitimately might die and you are worried about raising it with people who can do something to fix this? This is your life. Start raising noise loudly and constantly. They need to move you or her yesterday. Have your doctor write a note, talk to the company, heck, talk to your work. If it is work-related housing and she no longer works there, she needs to go." Well guys, and that is another one of those cases where people are just being too nice and others are taking advantage of you. I'm wondering, has that ever happened to you? Have you ever been too nice and people have tried to take advantage of you? Let us know in the comments. Update: my roommate's dog is literally killing me. Thank you everyone so much for your advice. It gave me the confidence boost I needed to go to the higher ups. My roommate's behavior had progressively gotten worse after posting. She had stopped bathing the dog to protest being fired and kicked out. Also a FU to my allergies. She had stopped sorting recycling and started throwing trash away in the recycling bins, taking other people's food and several other things that just make you say what the F. I knew after seeing what you guys were saying and seeing that behavior from her, I had to speak up and be so loud that no one could ignore me. I also knew I had to make the hard choice of resigning and moving back home if the company was not going to take my worries seriously. Since it is company housing, I demanded a hearing with the company heads and the landlord. I took my visit summaries from doctor's appointments and told them how this needed to stop and the move out date needed sooner. If that didn't happen, I would be forced to resign. They were appalled and they wished I would have spoken up sooner, a mistake I will never make again. They made up a new contract they made her sign, pushing the move out date to January 25th. They also stripped her of some company items, phone and computer, they were going to let her previously keep. She is going to be banned from company property as well after that date. In addition to all of this, the company will be reimbursing me for any medical bills I have because of the dog allergies. I think this is the best outcome I could have gotten realistically. Thank you guys once again. Edit to add, they are hiring professional cleaners and someone to clean out the HVAC vents after January 25th. Also, if the roommate is still here after that date, the company told me they will have locks changed and police escort them out if needed. There is no wiggle room with this new contract. And the next one is titled, I, 30 male, just found out about my girlfriend, 28 of a year plus, had a whole life I knew nothing about right as I was ring shopping. Advice? I've been dating the most amazing woman for the past year and a half. I have been in puppy love before, the kind where they are all you can think about and you smile when you think of them, and we have that too. But she has also brought to me the joy of being together, but not together, that magnificent way you can just be and be alone in the same room, her reading a book, me doing a project, and really knowing someone, knowing how her mouth crinkles when she thinks, the way the rain makes her feel, all the stories of her childhood, all the little stuff that makes her a great person, at least I thought I did. I was shopping for a ring and had been dropping hints that made her smile, and we would plan this little suburban life, a deck with a grill, a goofy puppy, a piano. We talked about baby names and vetoed once. We have the joke names Trevor and Trevina. We would pick out paint colors and flooring at Lowe's and giggle like idiots. I was 100% confident, I just hadn't chosen a ring. You know, she didn't want a diamond, but did not know what she does want. Then I got a Facebook message today from some guy. He said that he was her brother-in-law and that she had blocked him on Facebook, but could I please pass along a wedding invite, and it would mean a lot if she was there. I pressed for more details and it all came out. She was married before to a guy named Brandon and they had a little boy. Sam, she told me before she did not like that name. The son died in a car accident and afterwards they had an ugly divorce and she cut ties. 5 years of her life I never knew about and I don't know if I would ever have. I think she was never going to tell me. I have felt sick about this all day, made up an imaginary sickness to sit and think by myself, and I feel paralyzed by it. This morning I knew her and now I don't. I don't even know how to bring this up or what. I definitely cannot go buy the ring and pretend. At the same time I want to be with her. I am hurt but know that was horrible. That she went through something unimaginable, but I don't know what that means for us. Am I just a distraction? Is this something she does? I just don't know. Help. And a user in the comments said, losing a child is the most traumatic of things a parent can go through. She does not want to relive that and it helps her to cope by pretending she's not that person overwhelmed by grief. I would talk to her, but please be sensitive and gentle. This was not a game she was playing with you or an intentional lie. I believe she didn't want you to look at her with pity. And another person said, man, I'm sorry this has hit you like a brick. To be honest, I could sit here and give you advice, but until you talk to her, look her in the eyes, listen to her, feel her response, you won't know the answer to any of your questions. This is something that could break you up, but it is also something that could bring you closer. You need to tell her you know and ask her about it. And guys, I would love to hear what you think about this situation. Do you think it is right that the girlfriend kept this sort of secret from OP? Let us know in the comments. And by the way, while you're at it, please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments if you don't mind. Thank you so much in advance, this really helps my channel out tremendously. Update to the girlfriend had a whole life I knew nothing about story. I spoke to her the day after. She told me she had wanted to tell me for a while but didn't know where to start, that she thought about Sam every day but at the same time did not know how to begin. She pulled out a shoebox from her closet and she showed me the pictures. Pictures of her wedding, this propped up little thing at the courthouse, her in a short white dress with a slight stomach, her husband this cocky smiled kid with his shaggy blonde hair. Then the baby, Sam, pictures from a red-faced baby to this little 4-year-old person. Birthdays and Christmases and pictures of the 3 of them, a family. She talked about Brandon, how they came from these radically different backgrounds and she barely knew him as a person before he was a father and husband. They had only been dating 3 months when she got pregnant, they were 20. Then she talked about Sam, her baby. She kept saying he was the best thing that ever happened to me. Hearing that broke my heart. She talked about how his hair cowlicked in 3 different spots and how he was always singing or humming, that he loved to climb. She told me his favorite movie and book. She made him a person to me. Then she told me how they lost him. Some kid ran a red light and then he was gone. She barely remembers the funeral because she was so heavily medicated. But the worst part was after, going home and him not being there, how she would walk past his room and expect to hear him playing, waking up and forgetting for a minute he was gone. Their marriage had never been good and they turned on each other. He blamed her because she had fastened the booster seat on that side of the car. She blamed him because he had been driving. They were divorced within a year after the accident. Brandon had a new child within 2. She had spent the time doing overload on classes and working, keeping busy because it made things easier. She did not see her old friends because they drifted away, they never knew what to say. And they mostly had kids of their own. She was surviving, but seeing Sam's brother, who looked so much like Sam, hurt so much that she decided she had to get away and stop wallowing. She took the pictures down, donated clothes and toys, deleted her Facebook, and stopped seeing the old friends who were not really friends anymore. She said she chose to keep breathing because that was what it had come down to. Then she met me and she said I made her want a fresh start, a better marriage and more children because she loved me. We talked for hours, she cried and I cried for her. I still love her, maybe more now, because I feel like she opened up to me so much. It is hard to imagine her married with a son, toys on the floor and pictures on the fridge. It is hard because in a lot of ways it is the life I've been imagining with her. I still plan on marrying this woman, she is the love of my life. And the last one is kind of an infuriating one, and it is titled, My 25 female professor 30 male asked me to go on a date after I graduate next month. I am currently getting an MA in communications, set to graduate next week. This past semester I had a professor, let's call him Mark, who has been a great mentor and resource while I was completing my thesis. His class was quite difficult, but he was always willing to offer assistance to those who needed it. I did well in his class, although he graded me pretty harshly in the beginning. I was going through a fairly stressful time then, found out my father was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and it definitely reflected in my assignments. He told me that he knew I had more potential than this and asked if there was anything else going on. I confided in him and he offered some words of comfort, but told me that if I needed extensions on any assignments to tell him beforehand. I accepted the low grades but worked my ass off for the rest of the semester, which showed in my final grades. Now, I will preface this next part by saying that Mark is incredibly attractive. Girls in the class who would normally wear jeans and a t-shirt to school will come dressed to impress. Mark is a very good teacher, engaged and incredibly knowledgeable, but he refuses to join in on any social events, pub nights, etc. I figured he must be incredibly private. I have a few interviews set up for positions within my field, I have a few references lined up, and sent Mark an email asking if he could write me a letter of recommendation. We decided to meet at a Starbucks close to the school a week later, yesterday. We were chatting about summer plans, the jobs I've been applying to and other random things when he clears his throat and became really serious. He slid over the recommendation letter in a sealed envelope and told me that he would be interested in going out for dinner with me after my commencement. I asked if he meant as a date, to which he said that he tries to keep his professional life professional and not mix it with his personal life, but since I will be graduating and no longer a student at the college, he would like to take the opportunity to potentially pursue something romantic with me. I'm pretty sure I was blushing, but I just told him that I needed to think about it, to which he completely agreed and hoped he didn't make me uncomfortable. He seemed kind of withdrawn and flustered after that, and we left separately shortly after. This was yesterday and I have not heard from him / responded to his offer. On one hand, I do really like him, but never thought he would be interested in me. The idea of pursuing something more than a teacher / student relationship is definitely something that I would enjoy, but would that impact my reputation or his? I don't want to do anything that puts his job on the line, and even though I'm no longer his student, final grades were submitted 2 weeks ago, is this still too soon to pursue something? And if I do accept, I know I will no longer be able to use him as a character or academic reference, which is fine, but now I am hesitant to submit the letter of recommendation he compiled for me. Reddit, I need advice. Would this affect my professional life or his? Have you had any relationships with former professors? Is this completely wrong? I did not feel the slightest bit uncomfortable or creeped out by his proposition, but I'm not sure if my judgment is clouded by infatuation. Your advice would be appreciated. And a user in the comments said, in my opinion, once you graduate, you are no longer his student, and if you two want to bang the night of graduation, that is no one's business but the two of you. You are close in age and have a good relationship from what it sounds like. He is respectfully keeping his distance and letting you think through this. You would have to lose his character recommendation, but let's be honest, it will be difficult to use for much longer, even if you do turn him down. So guys, what do you think about this whole situation? Is the teacher doing something wrong here, or do you think it is okay? Let us know what you think in the comments. Update to the professor's story. Hi everyone, I just wanted to thank you all for your comments on my last post. They really helped me. I was asked for an update, so here we go. Anyways, I think I should have worded myself better. I wrote the post on May 30th and my convocation was on June 4th. I put next month in the title, but realistically I should have put next week. I digress. Looking back, the timeline is probably confusing, but this post should clear it up. First and foremost, I got a job. It is at quite a large PR firm within the city and I start next week. They did not ask me for references, but instead told me they looked at my LinkedIn profile and saw what I had quite a few recommendations there, so they were satisfied with that. I am so excited. So I never ended up using Mark's letter of recommendation. After posting, I decided that I do want to explore something romantic with him. I immediately felt better after getting some third-party advice, so the next day I emailed him, I didn't have his phone number, and said this. Mark, first off, I want to say that I am incredibly grateful for the recommendation letter you compiled for me. I have a second interview tomorrow at one of the agencies I was telling you about. I'm a bit anxious but also quite excited. I just wanted to let you know that I will not be using the letter after all. I thought about what you asked me and I am very interested in going out to dinner with you. You have been an awesome mentor this last semester, but I'm ready to see a different side of you. I promise we don't have to get Indian food. I wanted to apologize if I seemed standoffish when you asked me. I was not expecting it and it took me a while to process it all. Again, thank you for the letter. Maybe I will see you at convocation this Saturday. And just in case you may want it, here's my number. The Indian food bit was from when he was sick one day and said he is 99% sure he got food poisoning from trying a butter chicken dish at a dive bar. Anyways, I received a text from him an hour later and we have been talking ever since. On Friday I found out I got the job and told him. He said he was not surprised and I would do really well there. Saturday was my convocation. My parents flew down and it was great. I saw Mark at the mixer and he had a huge grin on his face and waved. I was busy taking photos and whatnot and noticed he left later on. He told me he did not want to spoil my day and said we would talk soon. We decided to go out to dinner yesterday, Sunday. To keep it short, it was great, he was great, and he walked me back to my condo. We said goodnight and he started walking away. I was kind of disappointed and turned to walk into the door, but I heard him call my name and he kissed me. He said he is still new at this. Anyways, this post was probably all over the place, but I'm actually just feeling really giddy and excited. Between the new job finally graduating and the lovely date I had with my ex-super hot professor, I am on cloud 9 right now. Thanks for everything guys, your advice really helped. And guys, I gotta be honest, when I first read this story, I expected something completely different. Maybe some creepy teacher who is taking advantage of his student, but then again, I'm not exactly sure if we know the age of this student in question, but I assume it is maybe early 20s or something. So therefore, I can see why things turned out the way they did. Either way guys, for the people who watched until here, obviously you are the really loyal fans and I would like to once again ask you, in case you have not seen the community post, are you still interested in Just No Mother-in-Law stories? Please let us know in the comments because I have found a great new source for Just No Milk stories which has nothing to do with the old one, so I won't get in trouble for reading them. And guys, unfortunately we have already reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and if you haven't already, please also go to patreon.com/ripeyoutube where I upload exclusive Reddit videos starting at just $3 a month. This is a great way to support me in case you are interested, and the chance for me to become independent from YouTube revenue. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.